No, don't do it!
Alright class, welcome back to FPL School by your boy, Bacon Boy. And this is episode 4, FPL Words and Phrases, Speak Like the Experts. You walk up to Mr FPL Expert himself, and he says, "Alright geezer, I've been looking for a budget out-of-position talisman who's preferably a nailed-on differential as a sword player, hopefully with great underlying stats such as expected goals scored and involvement, with low effective ownership over the double game weeks but also isn't considered essential." You know what I'm saying? No, not really. Not even Google Translate can help you there. But thankfully, we can learn about what all these things mean in the best school ever, FPL School. Where right here, I have the biggest ever dictionary, so I know the meaning of all the words and I will help you with them today. Where to make it all easy to understand, I will give the word/phrase, then the definition, and then use it in a sentence. Return. A player scoring points for doing something like a goal, assist or clean sheet. I'm so glad I captained Joe Linton. He got me 2 attacking returns. Blank. A player hasn't returned and not scored any points. I can't believe I captained Dele Alli. He blanked. Price point. The price range within what a player costs. I like Grealish because he is at a good price point. Easy to downgrade, but can also upgrade. It basically just means price, really. Budget player. A player costing a low amount, which also varies per position, scaling between maximum and minimum price of the player's position. I love Lamperty at 4.5 million. He's the best budget player. Mid-range player. A player costing a mid amount, which also varies per position, scaling between maximum and minimum of the player's position. I love Rafinha. He's the best mid-range price player. Premium player. A player costing a lot of money, which also varies per position. You get the point there. I love Sterling. He is the best premium player to own. Said no one ever. But for extra definition though, the range of pricing per position kind of looks something like this. But also, these are very loosely defined terms. It's not concrete or whatever. It varies per season, so it doesn't really matter too much. Set and forget. Selecting a player for your team that you will just forget about and keep all season. I'm picking Edison in goals. Guaranteed 25 plus clean sheets. He's the best set and forget keeper. Nailed on. When a player isn't of risk of rotation and will start every game. Harry Maguire is Man United's most important defender. He is 100% nailed on. Differential. Having a player that isn't owned by that many people so that when he scores, less people get his points and you have more of a gain. I think Harrison can get a lot of points at the start of the season and is that low owned. He's the best differential. Essential. A player that is a must own. You got to have them. Lingard is scoring a hat-trick every game. He is essential. Shield player. Choosing a player just to protect your rank as he is very highly owned. I've got him Benteke as a shield player next week just in case he scores that hat-trick at his 50% ownership. Punt. A player that might be a bit risky. There's a chance Norwich could score against Man City, so I'm going for Pookie as a punt. Out of position. A player is playing in a more advanced role than his FPL position, such as a defender now starting in midfield. Stuart Dallas is the best FPL defender because he is out of position, also known as OOP as well. Reverse out of position. A player playing in a less advanced role than his FPL position, such as a midfielder playing in defence. Declan Rice was a bad FPL option anyway, but now that he is a reverse out-of-position player covering at centre-back, he's got to get in the bin. This is also known as poo, reverse out-of-position. Poo, oop, poo. And yeah, they are poo. Talisman. The main player that just keeps things going and usually the most involved in goals and assists. Bruno Fernandes has to be in your team. He is the talisman of one of the most attacking teams in the league. Big at the back. When you have a lot of money invested in your defenders in your team. Trent, Robertson, Diaz, Chilwell and Shaw are all staying in my team. Big at the back is the way to go. 8th attacker. The midfielder/forward who is a backup for your other main attackers, as the most midfielders and forwards you can play at once is 7. Keenan Davis is the best 8th attacker. He should get minutes and will cover any random absence from other players. Rotating players. Having 2 or more players where you only play the ones who have the better fixture or are playing better, leaving the other one on the bench. Lamptey and Ayling are my 2 rotating defenders. They will take turns in playing depending on the fixtures. Bench fodder. A player that is going to stay on your bench no matter what. The cycling GK Ben Foster is just bench fodder in my team as he is only 4.0 million and won't be playing. Benching headache. When you have so many good players in your team, you don't know who to bench. All of my players have amazing fixtures. I have a massive benching headache right now. Like, please, someone pass me the paracetamol. Effective ownership. A player's ownership plus the amount of people who have captained him minus the people who have benched him. So basically, his actual ownership for a game. Bruno is going to have a massive effective ownership next week. I'm really glad I have him. Blank game week. At least one team isn't playing in a game week. I hope I will have 11 players playing next week. It's a blank game week. Double game week. At least one team has got 2 games in one game week. I can't wait for Man United to play Norwich and Watford next week. What a great double game week. Locked in. When you are super happy with your team and won't make any more changes. This is my team for this week. I am locked in. Bus team. What your team will look like for next week if you got hit by a bus right now and couldn't change it. My bus team for next week looks really good already. In form, a player that has been doing very well. Tony has finally scored. He is now in form. Underlying stats. The main stats specifically for fantasy of a player. Morby is great. His underlying stats for goals looks very good. Expected goals, or XG. A stat used to predict the likelihood of a goal determined by the position and the quality of a shot. Danny Ings had an XG of over 2 last game. Those chances he had were great. Expected assists, or XA. A stat used to predict the likelihood of an assist determined by if a given pass will create a goal based on XG as well. De Bruyne created an XA of over 3 last game. Those crosses were amazing. Expected clean sheet, or XCS. A stat used to predict the likelihood of a clean sheet, determined by the quality of shots and chances that were conceded. Brighton have one of the highest expected clean sheets out of all teams. They don't concede that many chances. Eye test. Seeing if a player is good by watching them play. Podence was great last night. He passed the eye test. Clean sheet wipeout. You own a defender and he has just lost his clean sheet by conceding. I captain Trent. That clean sheet wipeout has proper spun my jaw. Insight. Key information about a team or player. Wolves play a back 5 against big teams to try and be a bit more defensive. Hashtag insight. Hindsight. Understanding an outcome only after it's happened. I knew Pookie would have scored a hat-trick against Liverpool, like it's obvious. Outcome bias. Forming a conclusion based on what happened just one time. I'm never going big at the back again. It's a terrible strategy. All my defenders lost their clean sheets in the first week. Hashtag outcome bias. Confirmation bias. Favouring information because it confirms your existing idea. Yes, that team with no Salah looks great. Only because I don't have him too. Gut feeling. The feeling of something is about to happen without putting much thought into it. I think Dan James could score 5 goals next game. I just have that gut feeling. Bandwagon. Getting a player that is currently trending. Son has been great. I'm jumping on that bandwagon. Hit the ground running. A player has done very well at the start of their season. Todd Cantwell has really hit the ground running. I'm getting him in now. Marathon, not a sprint. When your season has got off to an absolutely crap start and you want to feel a bit positive. Well, only 20 points this week, but FPL is a marathon, not a sprint, right? We move. When something terrible has happened, but you want to feel positive. 3 red cards in my team this week. Well, we move. Right decision, wrong outcome. When you backed a player to do well, but they did not do well. Captaining Mane against Norwich was still a good move, even though he didn't score and went off after 10 minutes. Right decision, wrong outcome. X got robbed when your player wasn't involved in a goal. What do you mean Cavani scored? De Gea robbed. Give it to X when your player wasn't involved in a goal. No assist for that Man City penalty? Give it to Bruno. Weird way to spell X. When your player wasn't involved in a goal. Goal, Rashford. Assist, Shaw. Weird way to spell Benteke. And finally, unlucky. When something didn't quite go your way. Norwich scored against my triple Liverpool defence. Now that is what I like to call unlucky. What's that? Hello? Yeah? He's saying... This has been episode 4 of FPL School, how to speak like the cool kids with all of the FPL lingo. Make sure to check out the next episode and watch the next video, or you right there will get a bit of a spanking.
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.